Hello everyone and welcome back to our Artificial Intelligence lecture series. I am Nadia Patel. Let's get started with our today's lecture. So we are going through the unit second, which is Introduction to Intelligent Systems. By far we have seen definition of intelligence, what exactly intelligence is all about, and some of the types of intelligence. So after actually understanding what the definition of intelligence says and what actually psychologists say about intelligence, which is very difficult to define, now let us move towards what are different components of these intelligence. Now these components are completely, we can say, related to artificial intelligence branch of science. So when it comes to AI and artificial intelligence and making intelligent systems, these components should be kept in mind so that you can develop algorithms which are based on these components. So in today's lecture we will just have one introduction about what different components are, and we will go through the first component of intelligence, which is very important kind of component, that is learning. As I always say, learn till you die, and if you belong to the branch of computer science, you have to keep learning throughout your life, because technology changes and whatever you have learned today might get outdated in coming days. So learning is very important. This very factor makes humans intelligent or different from animals, because we learn from our past experiences and we have that capability which actually makes us different. And we will just go through some simple types of learning. So these are the components of intelligence. So it is, the first component is reasoning, the next is learning, next is perception. You have heard and seen perception word many times since we have started artificial intelligence lectures. So perception is important, learning algorithms and knowledge base, which is a very important component of AI. Problem solving, which is our unit 3. In unit 3 we will actually go through some of the algorithms and some of the part where you will get to know what technicality is behind problem solving. And finally, linguistic intelligence. As I have told you and shown you some different types of intelligence in the previous lecture, you might have encountered the word language. The one who is good at languages, the one is having a good command over communication and speaks, makes use of phrases and words which are very, we can say, impactful, has got linguistic intelligence. And researchers and developers of AI are actually expecting machines to have a communication with us in our spoken languages, with the accents which we have, with the slangs which we use. So these are the major components of intelligence which are part of artificial intelligence and which are used in developing intelligent systems. So let us head towards learning. We will see the first component, learning, which is very easy. We have divided it into two smaller parts, but if you ask me, this very component of intelligence has got many, or we can say a deep kind of knowledge, or we can say it has got a deep kind of picture behind it. But we will actually see what is actually related to our syllabus and which is required to our syllabus. So let us head towards it. Learning is the activity of gaining knowledge or skill by studying, practicing, being taught, or experiencing something. So this is basically the definition of learning in artificial intelligence. Learning is very important. If you have the ability to learn and you don't get tired of learning, you will never fail in any situation. The one who has that kind of mindset to learn, keeping aside their attitudes and whatever their personalities are, you will never ever fail in your life, because you will survive. Survival and adaptation, I have already told you, are the key rules of thumb of nature and of course of intelligence. So if you're very good at adapting to new situation at ease without making it difficult for you, you will survive in any situation in life. So again, learning is something where you actually gain knowledge or skills by studying, by practicing. But the simplest form of learning in artificial intelligence is trial and error, which all of us do. This is the basic and the bestest thing. Taking from real life examples to studies, we just try, we have error, we solve them. We try. Trying is very important. Just keep on trying. If you are at home and you're just cooking new things, you're learning, you'll fail sometimes, and you can maybe pass in the first attempt itself. So trying is very important. If you're getting errors, it is the best thing, because that is what is again a big focus in artificial intelligence. They want learning systems. They don't want a system which is pre-fed with something, like we actually have our softwares, like press a button and something will happen. So this is a pre-fed system. It will just work like our, we can say, tube light or fan. You just switch on the fan and switch off. It is the only thing what it does. So we don't want switches, we want learning systems which should learn, which should actually have errors and learn and correct themselves. So this is a basic part of learning which is followed in artificial intelligence: trial and error. The solution keeps on solving problems until it comes across the right results. So until and unless the goal is achieved, it will keep on trying. Until and unless the desired result is met, it will keep on trying. This is the basic rule of learning. The second thing is, learning's first component is known as rote learning. So learning is, again, as I told you, is a very deep branch of artificial intelligence. It has got many algorithms, many science behind it, definitions, and many kind of theory. But we have picked up something which is appropriate and I think enough for you to understand that one part of learning is rote learning. So this is the basic. We are just going to focus on the basic things and how they work. So rote learning is the simplest and the basic thing, where you are just going to memorize individual items and procedures. So if I want to make it simple for you, the system with rote learning is going to have a database. Every system is going to have database, and I have already given you a lecture on artificial intelligence. Basic components are database and internet. So if AI is having database and internet with it, it is just going to nail it. But in rote learning, it will simply have a database and pre-fed things. We are just going to feed some things inside the system and inside the database, and by making use of those pre-fed things, it will keep on learning. So rote learning is a memorization technique based on repetition. It is just going to repeat, it is going to try for sure, it will follow trial and error thing, but the basic component which is going to help it is memorization. It should have a database. It is going to work on situations or probably problems which are encountered earlier or on past data only. As I told you, we are just going to give it a database with some information feeded inside it. We will just feed some information in the database, and the system will make use of this database and solve certain problems. That's it. This is the first basic type of rote learning. It is going to fail if new situation apart from previous situation arises. For sure, if something which is not present in its database comes up, it is not going to solve that problem. So solutions for every problem, every possible solution, we are going to feed inside its database. It will just analyze the problem. Again, these are intelligent. They are not dumb kind of a system. These are intelligent, but they have limitations. They have certain restrictions which are with respect to the database. They will encounter the problem, they will analyze the problem and find the best possible solution and give it. But if a problem comes up which has got no trace, nothing in its database, it is completely new, now it is not going to analyze it or find a solution for it. It will simply just fail and just give no solution. Rote learning is relatively easy to implement on a computer. So some of the examples, if you ask me, some real life examples could be memorizing multiplication tables, periodic tables, science or mathematics formulas. Remember, we used to memorize things in our school. I don't think any of you still sit and memorize, like we call it Rattamar. We don't sit and memorize things now, we learn, we understand them. So when it comes to tables, I remember in school we were actually getting punished for not learning tables. So I don't know how many of you still remember the multiplication table for 17, 18, 19 and 20. I don't know, but jokes apart, tables were something which we actually had to learn without even keeping in mind how to solve it, some shortcuts, no nothing. We used to just learn it. Similar thing we used to do for mathematics formulas, where we have to solve some problems. And same thing we did with the scientific or periodic table. So this is memorizing, and that is what is rote learning. Just one database with all the possible information inside it, that's it. Now let us understand the working of rote learning, this component. Actually, how does this component of AI works? Now let us take a case study of a computer program. As I told you, artificial intelligence emergence, with the emergence of AI, it gained popularity by coming up with a system which used to play chess. So that is when it actually defeated some of the champions, it became popular that there is something in softwares now which can defeat humans. That became a very big news, and that gained popularity to artificial intelligence. So we will take the same example of a computer program for solving checkmate in one move. I don't know how many of you play chess, but in chess you might be knowing, this is general and common. We have to follow some rules which is applicable to particular chess pieces. Apart from that, checkmate is the situation where you defeat, and there are certain people who checkmate their opponents in just one single move. One move and the game finishes. That's it. So these are actually some mobile games and some online games also. If you have got a situation that you have to write a program, a computer program for solving checkmate in one move, under rote learning, the program will try at random moves. It will just go through its database and just study some random moves until the mate is found. So checkmate is usually actually made a short form into mate. So until it finds the checkmate position, it will just go on trying. Trial and error is the basic rule of rote learning. It will just go on trying and trying unless and until it finds that move which can checkmate the situation and just defeat the opponent. Program will store the solution now. Once it has found that kind of move where it just made one move and the opponent got defeated, it will store into the database. Now once the database is clear, the position of the chess pieces will also be stored. Like for example, there is a situation with having a horse and elephant and king around it, and the king of opponent defeated with one move. So it will actually understand and remember and memorize now and store inside the database the move it made, first thing. Secondly, it will also store the positions of the check pieces, and the complete situation will be stored. Now the same situation will be recalled in future for same situation. It will just recall the same solution if it finds the same situation in future. Now one game is finished, it goes on playing another games, and again in future it finds the same game with again a horse, an elephant, king of opponent and our king, the same situation, same position of horse, elephant and the king. It will make use of the previous data or the database and just play and defeat. So this is exactly how it will work. We will just feed all the positions, whatever the rules with respect to the rules of chess, the pieces, and what move should it make to defeat. So this is checkmate in one move. We'll just give database and we'll just give all possible information related to follow this. Second is checkmate in 4 moves. Now you are designing another game where you have to checkmate your opponent in 4 moves. Now you have to work it out what 4 moves you will teach and what will be the position of your chess piece, what will be the position of the opponent's chess piece, what different chess pieces should be around you, and you will completely feed this data or information to your system and then allow the system to play. But now the question is, okay, we have understood that rote learning involves a database. Rote learning needs some things to actually understand, like if this was the situation, it went on doing some trial and error. It is supposed to find one move to checkmate the opponent. So it will just go on trying and it just found a solution. Now once it found the optimal solution, it will store the check piece of our check piece, the position of our check piece, the positions of opponent's check pieces, and the move in the database. But now what if a new situation arises for which you have got no information, nothing in your database, and now your system is supposed to play the chess game? Here it is not going to work at all, because basic limitation or restriction of rote learning is that it will only work on the database. It is not going to learn on its own. It is not going to play on its own. It will just make use of the database and the past experience and past situation with all positions and all, and just play. So here what we need to do is, one basic solution to this problem is, make sure instead of teaching it check moves, teach it rules. This is what I believe. So moves are going to be different. There are going to be n number of moves. As you see in this picture, you can perform different method, and within 4 moves you can defeat your opponent. But instead of doing that, why not feed rules of chess to our database so that it can work on its own? Once you have got rules, you will just see the situation and play. That's it. This is the basic thing. Chess players memorize and actually practice on rules and then moves. First thing which should be learned is the rule. What are the different rules for particular chess piece should be learned. This is the second type of learning, which is generalization learning. So here it is going to apply past experience to compare new situations. The learner is going to be able to perform better in situations which are not previously encountered. As I told you, we have designed 2 small programs or 2 small algorithms where the chess piece is supposed to follow one move and just defeat your opponent. In the second case, chess piece was supposed to follow 4 moves and defeat the opponents, but for new situations, something which is new, it is not going to work. Here generalization is going to help us out. Here learner is going to perform better in situations which are not previously encountered. Sophisticated modern techniques enable programs to generalize complex rules from data. As I told you, make sure that you focus on rules and build a strong database with which the system can actually learn, which can be beneficial in learning. So let us take the case study. For example, we have already taken one case study for chess playing game. Now the second example is, say for example you have a computer program that learns the past tense of regular English verbs by rote learning. So if your program is supposed to, if you give a word, say for example you have given a word jump to it, it is supposed to give you the past tense of that word. This is a simple kind of program which is going to accept a word from user and going to give or return its past tense. So this is one algorithm. If you're going to perform rote learning, you are supposed to feed all possible verbs or all possible words in the database so that rote learning can actually search the database and give you its past tense as it is. But instead building such a huge database, because words are going to be uncountable, the verbs are going to be uncountable, so there can be a user who can actually have some typing mistakes or spelling mistakes. So as it is an intelligent system, it is supposed to correct every single thing. So building such a database becomes very difficult. Here make use of generalization learning. So generalization learning is going to do what? It is just going to follow the rule. So what is the rule? When you get a term or a verb, you are just going to add ed. So once you add ed to that term, the term itself will become past tense. That's it. This is just one example. There are many rules while following or making past tense for a given term. This is just one basic example. So this is how generalization works. We are going to focus on rules here, and so far so good. Rote learning is concerned, focus on the database more, build a database, give situation and answer, add a situation, problem, or you can say add a problem and solution to it. This is rote learning, whereas generalization learning is actually learning kind of a thing. You're just going to feed the rules, it will apply the rules and give us the desired results. So this is how difference between rote learning and generalization learning happens. Again, say for example you have to design a program under artificial intelligence to give multiplication table for a given number. Now when we are actually finding programs which are different from our normal program, because you can write the same code in C programming, but when it comes to artificial intelligence, it is supposed to accept. So I will just speak on my speaker that write me a table of 32, and then the software should work. So what we do in C programming, we actually flash on the screen, enter a number, the number is inputted by the user. We will flash on the screen a case study, or you can say some cases: 1 multiplication, 2 addition, 3 subtraction, and when you press the desired case, the multiplication table appears. So that is traditional software. But when we are speaking about artificial intelligence, my speaker will be on, I'll just narrate or I'll just say that please write a table for 32, and then the software is supposed to listen to it, convert the words into whatever sentences it want, then get actually what the problem is, and then give you the desired solution. So this is how AI works. And under that, if you are making use of rote learning, what you should do, you are supposed to feed the multiplication table from 1 to 30. Say for example you have fed multiplication table from 1 to 30. Now user, if he asks for any table between 1 to 30, rote learning is going to pass. But what if the user asks for multiplication table of 32, which is not present in the database? It is definitely going to fail. Whereas in contrast to rote learning, generalization learning is now going to pass. But how is it going to pass? So here we fed multiplication tables from 1 to 30, but in generalization learning we will feed the rule of multiplication. Now what is the rule of multiplication? The rule of multiplication is 1 multiplied by the number, you will get your result. You have to do the same thing till you iterate or till you perform 10 different loops. So when you perform 10 multiplied by number and result, your table will be completed. This is what generalization learning does. So in the same situation where the customer or the you can say user asked for table of 32, rote learning is going to fail because our database is having only 1 to 30, but generalization is going to pass because it is going to follow the rule and it is going to give the answer for multiplication table of 32. That's it. This is the first component of intelligent systems, or you can say intelligence. So there is one assignment, because whenever people ask about learning, it is directly related to machine learning. But if you ask me, this is a branch of AI which is, I can't say completely different, or I can't even say it is completely same. So it is different and same in its own way. So when learning, when people say learning, they ask you, we are actually expecting machine learning. But many times learning is what I have explained you, which is rote learning and generalized learning. What you have to do is, you have to take it as an assignment, find definitions for each, because I am not going to tell you what definitions of them are going to be. Find what is supervised learning, what is unsupervised learning, and finally reinforcement learning. So that's it about today's lecture. I hope it was easy to understand. Thank you.